Being able to build introductions is something every jazz piano player needs to do. Whether you're playing for yourself or whether you're at a jam session and somebody says, hey, would you give me an 8-bar introduction? That's the time when a lot of people freeze. So today we're going to look at some basics of building introductions that are really, really effective. How they work, the information you're trying to convey, how to build them on the spot, having some in reserve, the way I do it, all of that kind of thing. So let's get into it. First of all, what is the info you're trying to convey in an introduction? Let's imagine that we're playing an introduction for a singer, because I think that will be quite a clear example. The rules will be the same if you're playing for yourself or for a trumpet player or whatever, but I think when you're working with a singer, these become very clear and stark examples. So first of all, the basics are we're trying to convey the tempo, okay? Let's say we're playing for a ballad like My One and Only Love. So the song goes like this. So the first thing is we want to hear in our heads the speed that that's going to happen. Now, often this will be just left to you as the piano player. It's not the drummer's job to count you in. And of course, you might just be playing on your own or in a duo or whatever. So first of all, hear that in your head. 1, dee, da, da, dee, da, dee. Does it sound right to you there? If not, then adjust in your head before you begin. That's a mistake a lot of people make. They race in too fast. The tempo is set too quickly. Now they've got nowhere to go. They've got to stick with it. So listen in your head first, okay? Now that's done, we can set up the feel. We can set up the note to give a singer a note, for example. That's helpful as well. But let's talk about how we're going to build these introductions. A simple way to do it is to take easy turnarounds. Turnarounds being sets of, say, 4 chords that normally fit in 2 bars. Things like 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 6, 2, 5. Very common turnarounds. 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 6, 2, 5, because 1 and 3 are so similar that they can play in place of each other. If you're enjoying this lesson, would you please give it a like and subscribe to the channel? Hit the notification bell so you know when there's a new video. A positive comment in the comments section really helps as well. And if it's time to level up your playing and get some freedom, then consider joining us on Jazz Skills. More about that at the end. For now, let's get back to the lesson. Just playing a 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 6, 2, 5, you've got an introduction. What I'm going to do is take it to the next level first. So when we play 3, 6, 2, 5, E minor 7 in the key of C, A7, D minor 7 to G7. That will be our second turnaround. So if I begin with a 1, 6, 2, 5 and then go to a 3, 6 dominant, A7, 2, 5. These are things I teach elsewhere as well, so we'll try and link something relevant. Just linking those two, you've got an introduction that lasts 4 bars. Simply played in chords would be like this. 1, 2, let's hear that tempo. Walk down to the third. And there's the singer's note at the top. Now, if I want to get a bit more elaborate, of course, it could be more melodic. Let's take it up a little bit. Dee-da, dee-da, dee. 1, 2, about there. These are things you can confer with your singer or whoever, right? So, and just maybe even sing a bit and say, is that where you want it, really quietly? You'll hear jazz musicians doing stuff like that all the time. So we can start to just play with it a bit. I used an A7 on that one. And you've got a great sounding intro just by doing stuff like that, right? If you're not sure how to go from chords to that, okay, don't worry. That's, that's something you can learn, and we show you on Jazz Skills to do many things like that, getting movements and inversions and voicings and things in. But begin with Inversions. So in this one, I'm going to feature inversions very heavily. The same progression. I'll keep a 1, 6 dominant, C, A7, D minor, G7, E minor, A7, D minor, G7. Inversion, join, inversion. That's a voicing. Okay, walk down. Inversion, inversion, voicing. Okay, this is a voicing which is a bit more advanced. It's a diminished over G7. I teach this all the time, and I've taken the top note up. Some more advanced people may know those as brothers, but really, we've got a G7 with its diminished that corresponds, and the top note moved up, right? And then you could just set up that first note if you wanted to as well. Now, one thing is we want to be super clear about that entry, okay? So make sure that your last couple of chords really cue in the tune. Most jazz standards begin on chord 1. I did some maths on it once. It was about 70% began on chord 1. So if we've got a load of turnarounds and we're prepared for progressions that lead to chord 1, that's going to be fantastic anyway. We've just looked at a couple of them today. On Jazz Skills, I think we teach about 8 of them, something like that, maybe even more, once you get into more substitutions and stuff. And then you've got all the movements and voicings as well. So the possibilities become endless. Sometimes we want to just use the last part of a tune and use that for the introduction. So introductions, generally 4 bars, 8 bars, maybe 16 bars. If it's a blues, because it's normally 12-bar blues, maybe 12 bar. But if you stick to 4 or 8, I think you're always going to be fine, right? Okay, so I'm going to take the last 4 bars of My One and Only Love. Ends on C, so I'm going to put in a quick 2-5, D minor G7, to break it up and take me back to the 1 again. Otherwise, it would just be an ending. So if I'm playing an intro for myself and I use the last 8 bars of the tune, then I've got the tune followed by more of the tune, which might not be great. That could work okay for a singer, for example, or a sax player. But I'm going to imagine I'm playing for myself and just avoid the tune a bit, but use the last 8 bars, the chords, and sort of improvise a bit more rather than playing the tune. Something like this. Now a 2-5. Notice I held the G underneath the 2-5. A bit more tension, yeah. This time I'll squeeze in a 3-6-2-5 turnaround at the end. A quick turnaround, you'll see what I mean. Just playing the tune so everyone knows where I am, right? 3, 6, 2, and we're off. So there are some basics of how you build introductions. The key is to be clear and confident and concise, keep the feel and the time intact, and start to feel most level 2s, as if you've watched me long enough, you know I teach on 3 levels. Most level 2s, which is that period of time where you just can't seem to catch a break, it's a few tunes but no real freedom. They're not feeling 4-bar sections and 8-bar sections, and they find it incredibly difficult to get their introductions to be clear because of that. We have lessons on this on Jazz Skills, so if you want to learn more, skyrocket your playing, get yourself fluent, improve your improvisation, your voicings, movements, accompanying skills, a vibrant community, and help from me as well, then come and see us there on Jazz Skills. And thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and bye for now.